I stand before you in this church and very place where we held our first briefing nearly 6 years ago, and just hours after the murders of Abby and Libby.
It's a double homicide that shocked the nation, but nearly 6 years after the murders of 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German, a break in the case.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation.
Last Friday, 50-year-old suspect Richard Allen was arrested in connection to the teenagers' deaths. On Monday, officials announced he was charged with their murders.
I am proud to report to you that today, actually last Friday, was the day, and an arrest has been made. Thanks to literally hundreds of media outlets that have been steadfast in reporting and keeping the memories of Abby and Libby front and center.
On February 13, 2017, the sleepy town of Delphi, Indiana changed forever when Abby and Libby went hiking on a nearby trail. One day later, their bodies were discovered in a double homicide that gained national attention.
A lot of the members of the public said it right. It's bittersweet. It's a step in the right direction. It's concerning that he's a local guy. So I think just different emotions.
In the more than 5 years since the grisly murders, few questions have been answered, including how the girls were killed. Investigators releasing only this image and a brief video clip the girls are said to have taken while hiking on the high bridge. For years, the case remained unsolved. Investigators noting thousands of tips, letters, and phone calls came in about the case.
Since the murders of Abby and Libby 2,086 days ago, the daily investigative team has worked tirelessly and is certainly worthy of mention today. But from a very personal perspective, you all have provided inspiration and support, even while oftentimes frustrated with us and me. You continue to encourage the efforts, and you too believe that one day we would all be here participating and sharing this news.
But many questions about the case remain unanswered. How was Allen pinpointed as a suspect, and what evidence connects him to the case? Officials say those questions will remain unanswered for now.
While I know you are all expecting final details today concerning this arrest, today is not that day. Today's not that day. This investigation is far from complete, and we will not jeopardize its integrity by releasing or discussing documents or information before the appropriate time.
Carroll County, Indiana prosecutors say a court order sealed Allen's charging information and probable cause affidavit as the investigation continues.
Per the court order, we cannot talk about the evidence that's in the probable cause or the evidence that's in the charging information. That will become evident to you at some point, and it'll be released, but right now is not that day. Today's about Abby and Libby, focusing on them.
That means Abby and Libby's murder investigation is still open, as are the case's phone and email tip lines.
We are going to continue a very methodical and committed approach to ensure that if any other person had any involvement in these murders in any way, that person or persons will be held accountable.
On Friday, Richard Allen appeared in court for an initial hearing. Prosecutors say he entered a preliminary plea of not guilty and is being held without bond.
We now move forward through the Indiana criminal justice system, allowing the system to provide its due diligence and process in providing that justice which is owed Abby and Libby, their families, and this community.
Allen is due back in court on January 13th for a pretrial hearing. A trial date has already been set for March 20th of next year. Officials say his arrest was the result of tireless work from countless investigators, some who declined promotions or postponed retirement to continue work on the case.
I really believe that Abby and Libby would be proud of you for standing strong, even in the face of immense pressure and perpetual criticism.
Investigators say they hope Allen's arrest and charges can bring a small amount of peace to those affected by the tragedy.
I believe in a God of justice and righteousness. Today, I believe that same God has provided us with justice for Abby and Libby.
If you have any information about Abby and Libby's deaths, contact the Delphi Double Homicide Tip Line at 765-822-3535. For the latest developments in this story and all things about true crime, stay with Law&Crime Network. I'm Sierra Gillespie.